I was having lunch with my grandpa on my 25th birthday when he asked me a simple question. So, did you get the email about your trust fund? The one I sent last week? I stared at him, confused. What email? What trust fund? Grandpa's face changed. His smile disappeared. His eyes went wide. You don't know about your trust fund? Nobody told you? I shook my head slowly. Grandpa, I don't know what you're talking about. He stood up from the table, his hands shaking. Where's your phone? Check your email right now. Search for messages from Grandpa William. I pulled out my phone and searched. Nothing. No emails from him. Not in my inbox. Not in spam. Nothing. There's nothing here, I said. Grandpa's face turned red. Not from embarrassment. From anger. Then someone deleted them. Someone has been intercepting my messages to you for years. And I think I know exactly who. That's when I learned that I had $3 million sitting in a trust fund since birth. Money my parents had hidden from me for 25 years. Money they had been spending while I struggled with student loans and worked 2 jobs. And Grandpa had been trying to tell me for months. But someone kept deleting his emails. Let me tell you how deep this betrayal went. Hello everyone. My name is Harper and I want to tell you about the day I discovered my parents had been stealing from me my entire life. This is a story about lies, greed, and technology that exposed the truth. It's about how one email conversation changed everything. I am 25 years old. Well, I just turned 25. I grew up believing my family was struggling financially. Not desperately poor, but always tight on money. My parents constantly complained about bills and expenses. We lived in a modest house. We drove old cars. I wore second-hand clothes. Every conversation at dinner involved money stress. When I wanted to go to college, my parents said they couldn't help me pay. I would need to take out loans and work part-time jobs. So that's what I did. I graduated with $35,000 in student debt. I worked as a graphic designer at a small agency, making just enough to pay rent and slowly chip away at my loans. I have a grandfather on my father's side. Grandpa William. He lives in another state, about 4 hours away. He's always been kind to me, but I didn't see him often growing up. Maybe twice a year. My parents always had excuses for why we couldn't visit more. He's busy. We're busy. It's too far. Gas is expensive. I accepted these excuses. I didn't think much of it. Grandpa would send me birthday cards with $20 inside. He would call occasionally, but my parents usually answered and said I was busy or not home. Looking back now, I realize they were controlling our contact. A few months ago, Grandpa called my cell phone directly. I was surprised because he rarely called my personal number. Harper, honey, I need to talk to you about something important. Can we meet for lunch? Just you and me. His voice sounded urgent. Is everything okay, Grandpa? I asked, worried. I'm fine. But there's something you need to know. Something about your future. Can you come visit me this weekend? I was curious and concerned. I agreed to drive to his city that weekend. When I arrived at his house, Grandpa hugged me tight. I'm so glad you came. I've been trying to reach you for months. We sat down at his kitchen table. He made tea. Then he looked at me seriously. Harper, I need to ask you something. Have you been receiving my emails? I was confused. Emails? I don't think so. What emails? He pulled out a folder full of printed pages. I've been sending you emails for the past 6 months. Important emails about your trust fund. About your financial future. I sent them to the email address your father gave me years ago. Did you receive any of them? I shook my head. Grandpa, I don't think I have that email address anymore. What email were you sending to? He showed me the address. It was an old email account from high school. I hadn't used it in years. I don't check that email anymore. I have a different one now for work and personal stuff. Grandpa looked troubled. Your father gave me that email address when you were 18. He said it was your main email. He said you checked it regularly. I felt confused. Why didn't you just call me or text me? He sighed. I tried. I called your parents' house many times. They said you were busy. They said you'd call back, but you never did. I didn't have your personal cell number until recently. Your father said you changed numbers and didn't want to give it out. That was a lie. I'd had the same cell number since I was 16. Grandpa, that's not true. I've had the same number for years. Why would Dad say that? Grandpa's face darkened. Because he doesn't want me talking to you. Harper, there's something you need to know. Something your parents have been hiding from you your entire life. My heart started beating faster. What is it? He took a deep breath. When you were born, I created a trust fund for you. I put $3 million into it. Money from my investments and savings. The trust was meant to be accessible when you turned 21. Your parents were the trustees until then. They were supposed to tell you about it and help you access it when you became an adult. I felt dizzy. $3 million? Grandpa, what are you saying? He held my hand. You should have gotten access to that trust fund 4 years ago. But your parents never told you. They've been the trustees this whole time, and according to the bank, they've been withdrawing money regularly. I couldn't breathe. What? How much have they taken? He showed me bank statements. Over 4 years, my parents had withdrawn over $1 million. For what? Where did the money go? I whispered. Grandpa showed me more documents. Property investments in their names. A new car. Renovations to their house. Expensive vacations. Business investments. All funded by your trust. I felt sick. But we were poor. They said we couldn't afford things. They made me take out student loans. Grandpa's eyes were sad. They lied to you, Harper. They've had access to millions since you were born. They chose not to use it for you. They chose to use it for themselves. I started crying. Why? Why would they do this? Grandpa explained. Greed. Control. I don't know. But I've been trying to tell you for months. I sent you detailed emails explaining everything. With bank statements attached. Legal documents. Everything you needed to know. But you never responded. Now I know why. You never received them. I wiped my tears. Show me the emails you sent. He pulled them up on his computer. Email after email. Sent to that old high school address. Harper, this is urgent. Harper, please respond about your trust fund. Harper, I'm worried about you. Please contact me. Harper, your parents are lying to you. You need to know the truth. He had sent 15 emails over 6 months. I had received none of them. Grandpa, I promise I never got these. I would have responded immediately. He nodded. I believe you. Which means someone deleted them. Someone had access to that email account and was deleting my messages before you could see them. We both realized at the same time. My parents. They had the password to that old email account because they set it up for me when I was in high school. They must have been monitoring it. Deleting anything from Grandpa. Keeping us from communicating. We need to check that email account right now, I said. I logged into the old email for the first time in years. It took me a minute to remember the password. When I got in, I went straight to the deleted items folder. And there they were. 15 emails from Grandpa. All deleted. But not permanently erased. I could see the deletion dates. They were deleted the same day they were sent. Every single one. Someone was checking this email account daily and removing any messages from Grandpa. It was them, I said quietly. They've been intercepting your emails. Grandpa looked furious. They've been deliberately keeping me from reaching you. They knew if I told you the truth, their scheme would be over. I felt a cold rage building inside me. What do I do now? Grandpa pulled out more papers. First, we document everything. Screenshot those deleted emails. Save the bank statements. Then we go to a lawyer. You're 25 now. That trust fund is legally yours. They can't keep it from you anymore. Over the next week, I gathered evidence. I printed the deleted emails. I got copies of the trust fund documents from Grandpa's lawyer. I saw the withdrawal history. Over $1 million gone. Then I contacted a lawyer who specialized in trust disputes. Her name was Ms. Chen. She reviewed everything. This is a clear case of trustee misconduct and fraud. Your parents had a fiduciary duty to protect your assets. Instead, they stole from you. We can take legal action. I felt nervous. This will destroy my relationship with my parents. Ms. Chen looked at me seriously. Harper, they already destroyed it. They lied to you for 25 years. They stole your money. They isolated you from your grandfather. They made you go into debt when you had millions. What relationship is there to preserve? She was right. I authorized her to file a lawsuit. We sued my parents for misappropriation of trust funds, fraud, and elder abuse against Grandpa by preventing his communication with me. When my parents were served with the legal papers, they called me immediately. My mother was screaming. How could you do this to us? We're your parents. We raised you. I stayed calm. You stole from me. You lied to me my entire life. You made me believe we were poor while you spent my money on yourselves. My father got on the phone. We were going to tell you eventually. We were managing the money for you. Keeping it safe. I laughed bitterly. Keeping it safe? You spent over $1 million. On yourselves. That's not managing. That's stealing. My mother cried. We needed that money. We had expenses. The trust was just sitting there. I felt cold. It was sitting there for ME. It was MY money. Not yours. And you made me take out student loans when I had millions. You watched me struggle. My father's voice turned angry. You're being ungrateful. We gave you a roof over your head. We fed you. We raised you. I interrupted. With whose money? With mine. You're not even good thieves. You stole from your own daughter and then made her feel guilty for existing. They tried every manipulation tactic. Guilt. Anger. Threats. Tears. Nothing worked. I had evidence. I had Grandpa's support. I had the law on my side. The legal process took 3 months. During the trial, everything came out. My parents had to explain every withdrawal, every expense, every lie. They had bought investment properties. They had renovated their house extensively. They had taken luxury vacations without me. They had bought a new car. They had invested in failed businesses. All with my money. The judge was not sympathetic. You exploited your daughter's trust fund for your own benefit. You made her believe she was a burden while you lived comfortably on her inheritance. This is one of the more egregious cases of trustee misconduct I've seen. My parents were ordered to repay everything they took, plus interest. $1.3 million. They had to sell their house to pay it back. They had to liquidate their investments. The properties they bought had to be sold. Everything. They also lost all trustee rights. The remaining money in the trust, about $2 million, was transferred directly to my control. Plus the repayment brought it back to $3.3 million total. I paid off my student loans immediately. $35,000 gone in one payment. I cried when I did it. Those loans had stressed me for years. They were completely unnecessary. I quit my low-paying design job. I started my own design business with proper equipment and software. I bought a beautiful apartment. Not a mansion, just a comfortable place that's mine. I invested most of the money wisely. I met with financial advisors. I'm set for life if I'm careful. Most importantly, I reconnected with Grandpa properly. We talk every week now. I visit him monthly. He's 85 years old and doing well. I'm sorry I didn't try harder to reach you sooner, he said once. I hugged him. You tried. You sent those emails. It's not your fault they deleted them. Thank you for not giving up. My relationship with my parents is over. Completely over. They filed for bankruptcy after paying back the money. They lost their house and had to move into a small apartment. They blame me for destroying their lives. They don't take responsibility for what they did. They play the victim. I don't care. I blocked their numbers. I blocked their emails, ironically. I have no contact with them. Some relatives have tried to mediate. They're your parents. Family is important. Can't you forgive them? I always give the same answer. They stole from me for 25 years. They made me suffer unnecessarily. They blocked my grandfather from telling me the truth. What part of that deserves forgiveness? The most interesting discovery came later. I hired a digital forensic expert to analyze that old email account. He found that someone had been logging in regularly from my parents' home IP address. They had been checking it almost daily. Not just deleting Grandpa's emails, but reading my personal emails too. They had been monitoring my entire digital life without my knowledge. Every job application. Every conversation with friends. Everything. The violation felt enormous. They had spied on me for years while pretending to be caring parents. Today, I'm 25 years old and my life has completely changed. I'm financially secure. I'm building a successful business. I have a relationship with Grandpa that's honest and loving. I'm dating someone wonderful who knows the whole story and supports me. I'm happy. Genuinely happy. That email from Grandpa, the one I never received until it was almost too late, was supposed to tell me about my trust fund. Instead, it revealed something even more valuable. It revealed who my parents really were. Not the struggling, sacrificing people they pretended to be, but greedy liars who would steal from their own child. I learned important lessons from this experience. I learned that parents can betray you just as easily as anyone else. I learned that financial abuse within families is real and common. I learned that technology can be used to control and isolate people. I learned that documentation is crucial when fighting fraud. I learned that blood doesn't make family, love and integrity do. And I learned that Grandpa sending that email, even though I didn't receive it, was an act of love. He kept trying. He didn't give up. He knew something was wrong. If you suspect someone is stealing from you, or hiding information from you, or controlling your access to other family members, investigate. Trust your instincts. Check your accounts. Talk to people directly, not through intermediaries. Use different communication methods. Don't let anyone isolate you. My parents tried to keep me from Grandpa because they knew he would tell me the truth. They failed. The truth came out anyway. And now I'm living the life I was always meant to have. The life they tried to steal from me. Thank you for listening to my story.